Veni Creator Spiritus, mentes tuorum visita, impleso.
I'll read for you. The first reading comes from the Epistle of St. Paul to the Romans. Brethren, we have gifts differing according to the grace that has been given us, such as prophecy to be used according to the proportion of faith, or ministry in ministering, or he who teaches in teaching, he who exhorts in exhorting, he who gives in simplicity, he who presides with carefulness, he who shows mercy with cheerfulness. Let love be without pretense. Hate what is evil, hold to what is good. Love one another with honor. Be not slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope. Be patient in tribulation, persevering in prayer. Share the needs of the saints, practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Be of one mind towards one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but condescend to the lowly. And so before I read the gospel, I'm going to stop here today. Rather than focusing on just one point, I'm going to try to give you briefly some of the great treasures that are always available in the readings of that day. So for the Holy Mass today, just to take this reading from St. Paul, a couple of the points that each one of which you could spend an extended time having a conversation with God about, praying about, receiving the gifts he wants to give you. So he says, hate what is evil, hold to what is good, love one another with honor. And with the boys at the school, one of the books they read is The Knights of King Arthur, and a couple books reference the great chivalry of the knights a couple centuries ago. And so that sense of loving one another with honor, of hating what is evil and being willing to fight against evil, of holding to what is good, loving what is good and noble, and loving one another with honor. So with honor in terms of modesty and chivalry, with respect, defending the weaker, always being willing to defend those who are weaker, and also holding each other as young men to a high standard. Of course, this is a work in progress for us at the school, but holding each other to a high standard of hating what is evil, also in each other's actions, if need be. And then showing mercy with cheerfulness. And so for that, we can think about the people who we've forgiven, or who we've been generous to beyond what is just. Have we done so with cheerfulness? It's already a good thing to manage to forgive, but sometimes we can forgive grumpily or in our hearts, well, not with cheerfulness. So that's a good examination of conscience. Have I forgiven? Have I shown mercy? Am I showing mercy with cheerfulness? Rejoicing in hope. So rejoicing in hope, that can be rejoicing in hope even in very small things, such as, okay, I'm fasting now. I'm looking forward to Sunday when I can feast and celebrate. That's fine. That's a legitimate way to rejoice in hope. But also in much bigger ways, above all, rejoicing in the hope of heaven. But we can even rejoice in hope for the trials that God will send our way. So there's different trials which God might choose to send to us. One trial we know we're all going to have at one point is to be dying. And this may sound a little bit crazy, but you can rejoice in, okay, I know there's going to be this opportunity to offer God that suffering, to choose to still love him and believe in him and hope in him in the midst of that suffering. And we can even rejoice in advance for that chance when we're dying to be united with the cross of our Lord. And of course, even before we're dying, the 1,001 ways that we're called to die by being ill-treated or different things that can occur. So rejoicing in hope is something that we're certainly called to do. and it's a whole fruitful conversation we can have with our Lord. And then the gospel, I'll read for you the gospel, the beautiful gospel of the wedding at Cana, from the continuation of the Holy Gospel according to John. At that time, a marriage took place at Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Now Jesus too was invited to the marriage, and also his disciples. And the wine having run short, and the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "What would you have me do, woman? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the attendants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now 6 stone water jars were placed there, after the Jewish manner of purification, each holding 2 or 3 measures. Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water." And they filled them to the brim. And Jesus said to them, "Draw out now, and take to the chief steward." And they took it to him. Now when the chief steward had tasted the water after it had become wine, not knowing whence it was, though the attendants who had drawn the water knew, the chief steward called the bridegroom and said to him, "Every man at first sets forth the good wine, and when they have drunk freely, then that which is poor. But you have kept the good wine until now." This first of his signs Jesus worked at Cana of Galilee, and he manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. And so this, I better stop or I'm going to go on too long, but there's lots of beautiful things from the gospel of the wedding feast of Cana. There's, of course, Our Lady's role. There's the obedience to our Lord. But just to highlight one point from the gospel, the wine before our Lord's miraculous wine, the wine that was served at the wedding feast at Cana, that would have represented the best of human labor and work. I'm sure for this wedding feast in Israel, where wine was carefully made, they would have carefully chosen the grapes and the aging and the best wine that they could for the wedding. So it's the best fruit of all of our good work and ingenuity and mind. And yet what God produces when he produces the miraculous wine is infinitely better. And that is symbolic of, in the Christian life, we can try to live our Catholic life by saying, okay, I'm going to work the best I can and go to Mass and have the sacraments, but basically run the show in my daily life, trying to do good things for God and so forth. But essentially, it's me. I'm really relying on myself for this. And God's grace will still assist us, and something good and beautiful can be produced. But there's a much better way, which is the water is, of course, from a human perspective, way inferior to this wine that they produced already for the marriage feast. But because, do whatever he tells you, because of this radical obedience to Jesus Christ, that allows him to transform this much weaker, poorer, less noble substance into something much better, of the tremendous grace of the glory of, the glorious wine, the wine beyond any human wine that had ever been made. And so that is symbolic of, in the spiritual life, in the Christian life, if we decide, of course, to work hard, to attend the sacraments, to use our minds, everything, love the Lord with all of your heart, your mind, and your strength. So we should work hard. But to choose to have, to say, I'm going to, every moment of every day, try to be radically dependent upon God, to say, okay, I believe you when you said, without me, I can do nothing, you can do nothing. And so I'm going to try each moment to live saying, I need God's guidance now, no matter what I'm doing. I need you to guide me now. I need your strength. I need to rely on the graces that come to me through the hands of the Virgin Mary. And that realizing our radical weakness, our incapacity, our dependence on him, and seeking to be docile to Him moment by moment throughout the day allows this miraculous transformation to take place. I'd best stop there. I've already gone on probably longer than was fitting for a Sunday. So God bless all of you. And it's a real joy, again, if you're joining us for the first time from this chapel before the Blessed Sacrament, it's a real joy to be able to pray here. And I'll look forward to praying with you tomorrow in the Holy Rosary.